What is going on, everyone? It's Ultimate Spy 53 here, and welcome to another episode of Reviewed number 119. And today, I'm going to be reviewing the movie, The Boxtrolls. So what did I think of The Boxtrolls? Well, I thought it was a very wonderful story. It was really good. I just thought it was amazing. It's basically Boxtrolls. It's the third stop-motion movie from Laika. After Coraline, my favorite movie of all time, Paranormal, which I never saw because it's about the dead and everything, I'm not really my thing. I probably will never see it just because, even though it's a Laika movie, I'm never going to see it because I don't have any interest in that. And, of course, Kubo, which came out in 2016. So, they're also making another one, which came out in 2019. So, that's going to be really good. So, this is the third one because I will be reviewing Kubo very soon, within a couple of weeks. So, actually, I think that'll be 2 weeks from now I'll be reviewing Kubo, so that'll be another thing, but it's just not Paranormal. I refuse to review Paranormal because of the concept. It just doesn't really appeal to me all that much. But it's a really wonderful story. I just love Laika's movies. They make amazing movies. So far, ones I've seen that I've actually enjoyed. They make some wonderful stories. They have gorgeous animation, kind of like with Studio Ghibli, where they just make amazing animation. And with this one, because it's stop motion, they have a really good time with it, making it look amazing and good, and just potentially, since it takes such a long time to make stop motion movies, especially I feel like with Laika, with stop motion movies, it feels a lot easier to tell a story with stop motion, because sometimes, if it's a animated movie that is not stop motion, or if it's live action, it's a lot harder to tell a story with that. So you have animation, it's a lot harder, especially with stop motion. It's a whole lot easier. Like, for example, Coraline, they were able to translate the book to the movie, and it was different, it was way different, but it was still the same story, and they did a really good job with it. So, with this movie, it was very good. I thought it was a really cool idea, and basically, the concept is called the Boxtrolls because they are trolls, but basically live underground in this cave that's basically like a mix between the Grinch's workshop and the 7 dwarves from Snow White, their mine, basically. Like, kind of like a mix between that. Basically, they have like that giant clock, which is made of basically different parts, because the whole thing about their nature is they're garbage collectors. Essentially, they collect, like, basically just garbage stuff like that, and they have their own little language called Cholese or something like that. It's really clever. So basically, they're like that. They live like that. They live their lives as Boxtrolls in their little home, their little cave, and it's really quite interesting just seeing them, behave and act and just be trolls, which is really cool. But basically, Thatcher, who is the villain of the story, he's this wicked guy who just wants to, capture the Boxtrolls and get rid of them, and it's just so he can earn his white hat. Basically, he has a red hat, and he wants to basically get the white hats. Like, there's a white hat council led by the leader of the white hats, essentially, this council. This cheese living council, essentially. And so he wants to get a white hat, but he basically has to destroy, capture all of the Boxtrolls. And there's especially a scene where all of them, where you see that they're diminished and that they're going away because of how much they've captured. And it's kind of sad, honestly. But also something about Thatcher that's really kind of weird, and you gotta, like, a little cringy a little bit. I don't know if cringy was really the word, but like just uncomfortable, because it's just so bad. It's so bad the way he does it, because he does not do a very good job with it. I mean, he's convincing to some of the characters, but he's just not. I'm not a character I really liked a whole lot. Kind of like if you think about Missy or those villains from different TV shows or movies where you don't like the villain because they're not supposed to be good. They're not supposed to be likable villains. And so with this one, he makes a female persona called Madame Frou-Frou, who is this woman he plays with a German accent, and he's got atrocious makeup on. It's just on a dress and a fake wig. It is quite awful, and I just hate it. I hated that character, but I'm glad it's no longer a thing anymore. I'm glad I don't have to worry about it, because it didn't last. It only lasted a few. I just feel like it was a character that was just, like, although interesting, very weird. I think he was using that character to get to the council, basically. I think, or to talk about the Boxtrolls and the terrible way they are. I don't know. Basically, that's the idea. Basically, the whole idea of the Boxtrolls is Eggs, who's this boy who's raised by Boxtrolls, essentially. He's basically given to the Boxtrolls by his father, who basically is threatened by Thatcher. I don't know exactly what he threatened him to do, but basically he threatened his father by taking his child, the baby, who is Eggs, and then he has no choice but to give the Boxtrolls him to raise. And unfortunately, we don't see him after that, or so we think, basically. And because of that, because he's been raised by Boxtrolls for like 10 years, he is convinced he's Boxtroll. Basically, that's the whole idea. And that was really something that was really interesting, was the fact that he lived his life as a Boxtroll for 10 years, and so he's convinced he's Boxtroll. So he wears a box. He speaks obviously, as a regular human does, but basically that's the idea. And one thing I noticed about the Boxtrolls in general, and it's a really, really cool thing about them, is that they seem to work together. They seem to work really well in a team, and you can see that in very beginning of the movie, they're using their boxes to get over things, and kind of like a stairway kind of thing. And it's just really, really cool. I think that's a really cool way of using characters in a movie like this, where you have creatures that can work together with the boxes they wear to do that, because they don't really have any clothes, so they're just regular trolls, and they're just basically naked without the boxes, and so they do that. And of course, when they sleep, they all pile up into a cube in a little cave thing, and basically sleep as a big cube. It's really cool, and I just think it's really, really clever and really cool, and just honestly amazing. So that was something I really liked about the movie in general. Another thing about the Boxtrolls that I really thought was interesting was that each Boxtroll is basically named after the item on their box, essentially. So, for example, Eggs, he's named after a picture of eggs on his cardboard box, which is used to cover himself. Basically, they're all based off cardboard boxes, so they're all Boxtrolls. They're all boxes. And or his adopted father, Fish, who's a Boxtroll. I mean, they're not really his father, but basically the troll that took him in, basically raised him, is Fish, and he has a picture of a fish on him. So yeah, and another one is a shoe. He has a picture of a shoe on him. Eggs is his father, or so we think is his father. We don't know who he is until we finally get to his. Don't know who he is actually. He keeps going on about Jelly for some reason, and he gets the name Jelly at the very end of the movie, which is really cool. It's basically to live life as a Boxtroll, which is, well, I think in the very climax of the movie, he gets that before he shaves his hair and his beard and everything like that. So that was something that really was interesting. So I think in general the Boxtrolls are very interesting characters as a creature, especially since they're just very unusual and very, I don't know, they're fascinating, I think. And a character that I just loved, she's my favorite character of the entire movie. I know Eggs is like the main character, but she's also one of my favorite characters, and that's Winnie. She's this super cute girl, who basically just acts like a tomboy, at least at the very beginning of the movie. She acts like a tomboy, but seems to wear different dresses and pigtails because of how wealthy her father is, essentially. It's just, I don't know if she wore makeup or something like it, because I saw the movie, I think she might have been wearing blush and some lip gloss. I don't know what it was. It kind of looked like that because of the animation, but I might have been wrong. I don't know exactly what it was. I think it's just the way that the film is animated with the stop motion. They use different, they use her, paintbrush and all that stuff to make the characters look shinier. I don't know what the thing is. It could be that, but I don't know. She's super cute. She's just really adorable, and she's one of my favorite characters because it's just she's just amazing, because she just feels when I said a tomboy, she's the Boxtrolls. She thinks that she wants to see them tear people apart and all that stuff, and leaving her bones, all that stuff. And it's just it's proves that she is a girl that has a very tomboyish side to her, but she's also a very girly girl because she wears a dress. She wears two dresses. That's the thing I liked about it. She wears a dress, and all she has pigtails. I like pigtails. I do like them, but honestly, I think she was just adorable. She was so cute in the movie. I think that she was an amazing character. She's one of my favorite characters because she's not afraid. She's, I guess, obsessed with the Boxtrolls. Yeah, basically obsessed with the Boxtrolls, wanting to find out more about them, where they came from, I guess. The fact that she's heard the story about what they can do, but the story aren't true, apparently, kind of thing. But one thing about Winnie that I was very interested to see was her relationship with her father, because in the movie, her father hardly even cares about her, really, at all. because he's more interested in his cheeses, basically. He's just like always interested in his cheese, and it's just he doesn't even care. Especially when she's trying to warn him about the Boxtrolls, he hardly even listens. It's basically like he doesn't even care about his daughter. I mean, he does, but it's hardly like he does more in the end. But like at the beginning, he's just like I think it's just because he's so distracted with his cheese group and everything like that. It's just like it's council, want to call it that, and it's just like it's just interesting the fact that. If his father, who was supposed to love her and all that stuff, he doesn't really do much with loving because he's just so distracted with his friends and his council, and it's like he doesn't even care, and that's something I was really fascinated. Like she believes that he cares, but he almost feels like he doesn't care until they write the movie, which is a very unfortunate thing. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting because honestly, she's one of my favorite characters of the entire movie, and I just think she's amazing. She's just adorable and. I love their voice acting. It's amazing, and she's just so cute. And as for Thatcher, God, Thatcher was an insane character. I mean, he was crazy. He was nasty. He was vile. He was obviously the villain of the story, and he was just horrible. I mean, obviously most villains are, but like this one, the way he went about like getting his goal, which was to be able to wear the white hat and then be the cheese to be in the tasting room with cheeses. But the thing is, even like he has some cheese at his little workshop place, whatever you call it. And the interesting thing about that is the fact that he's allergic to cheese. So even though he eats it, he's like he gets all puffy and swollen all that stuff. But even then, he still eats cheese, especially when he's at the very end of the movie when he finally gets to what he wants. Well, metaphorically speaking, because he doesn't really get what he wants, but he basically forces his way to get to the goal he wants. And when he's wearing the white hat, which belongs to Winnie's father, he not only does he puff up, but I think when he puffs up big time, at the verge of exploding, because the cheese the giant cheese wheel that was unveiled by the father of Winnie, who I can't remember his name, but basically I think Thatcher's female persona, Madame Frou-Frou, essentially is after eggs after he's being chasing everything, and then she causes him to break the bench or whatever, the thing that's keeping the cheese wheel up, and then that causes the cheese wheel to go all the way downtown, and it's hilarious because it's a cheese wheel and it's huge and massive, and you have all these these sounds, like an elephant, I think at one point, a cat, it's just like a cow. It's like really hilarious, but kind of, I don't know, it almost feels like the peach of James and the Giant Peach, kind of like that. And so basically, because of that, his men had to fish it out, and so you come from that to the very end of the movie where they finally dig it out, and it's like all green and slimy. And then I think basically the machine that Thatcher's in topples over after Eggs is attacking him, and then he gets lodged into the cheese, and then basically becomes puffy because the cheese he's drowned in the cheese that was basically crushed, as it was a cheese wheel before, and he gets crushed, and because he gets crushed, he's allergic to all the cheese toppling over onto him, and then he gets out of the thing, but his face is all puffy and swollen because he's allergic to cheese, obviously. Quite horrible. Actually, it's a revolting sight, basically. And so basically, he gets into the cheese tasting room, he has cheese, Winnie, her father, and eggs and fish are all in a line. They're kind of huddled together, like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And the cheese, and he's like, oh, I'm destiny to eat this. And then you see, and then the stomach starts to go, and then it blows up. And yeah, that's basically what happens to Thatcher. He just dies like that. Rather violent for a kids movie, but I don't know if it was meant to be marketed towards kids, but it's I don't know. I'm not really sure what the idea was, but I mean, they didn't really show a lot of blood and gore and all that stuff, and then they showed bad things happening to people, getting hurt and stuff like that, but it wasn't that bad. Also, something about Thatcher was really, really fun was his 3 henchmen. 2 of them speak more often than the third, but the 2 of them are these henchmen who basically, by the end of the movie, are convinced by Winnie to turn against Thatcher by, by releasing eggs from the fire pit thingy. That's, you know, where he's like he's here. The fire thing on the machine that Thatcher is here is like about to be, you know, engulfed in flames and die essentially. And she changes their minds, and they decide to redo themselves, having another chapter kind of thing. And that's basically what happens. It's essentially that. And then of course at the end of the movie, which is really, really fun, it's actually just at the very end of the movie, after the credits. Basically a mid-credit scene essentially. Like after the first batch of credits roll through, we see this little thing where, and this is actually something that was really, 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 really cool, and something that was not even part of the previous two movies. Well, I haven't seen the Paranormal movie, but Coraline, it was only briefly touched on because at the very end of that movie we see the mice, kind of like we show how the mice effect was worked when they are falling out of the door, just before Coraline goes to fall through and go to the parallel world. There's a little thing at the end that shows the time lapse for that. Pretty crazy. And then you see at the very end of the movie, you see Mr. Trout and Mr. whatever his last name is, the guy voiced by Richard Ayoade. I can't remember his name, but he's another actor, another British actor. And they're basically talking about the universe and like all these shiny people who are, you know, doing all this stuff we're doing right now. And then you zoom out and you see, you know, several animators doing the work, and you see a set. And it's just like, it's something you've never seen before. They're basically breaking the fourth wall by doing that, which I think is really, really cool. That's never happened to me. I've never seen a thing like that. It was amazing, honestly. It was honestly pretty darn amazing. I just love that. I think it was really cool. It was something I never really saw before. It wasn't in Kubo because I've already seen Kubo once, and I don't know if it's gonna be in the new one coming out next year. I believe there's another one coming out next year, so that'll be really fun. But it's just a really, really cool thing they added at the end of the movie. It was like a fourth wall break, but then also just a really, really fascinating thing, because I'm really, really interested in some of the stuff. I've always been fascinated by it, and I want to get more, especially since I already done one technically. So, and as for Eggs, is his family. The only people we know about are his father, because we don't really know what his name is, because it's basically at this point in the movie, at the very end of the movie, it's unknown what Eggs' real name is, his birth name basically, as we don't really know what happened to his mother, and his father is only around. Presumably killed, but later imprisoned. We find out he later been imprisoned for 10 years by Thatcher. I'm assuming that Thatcher probably knocked him out in that scene, which is why when Egg says he's dead, probably wouldn't happen, because he basically did. I think that Thatcher took him to. Actually, I don't know even. I think that Thatcher took Eggs' father, Herbert Trubshaw. So that means that whatever Eggs' real name was, his last name was Trubshaw. So basically, that was because he's known as the Trubshaw baby, but he does not have an official name. Just Eggs is his given name by the Boxtrolls. But basically, that's what happened. Basically, Thatcher takes him to build the machines to imprison the Boxtrolls. So basically, he doesn't kill him, even though we are assuming that he does. He just gets knocked out, and then basically imprisoned for 10 years, which is why he has a bunch of hair and all that stuff, and he's basically insane at that point. Sort of. Basically, he's insane until he gets, shaven and all that stuff. But it was really interesting because it's like, well, there's a father, there's supposed to be a mother somewhere, but I think usually with stories, if they don't have a mother in them, or they don't explain a mother, it's presumed that the mother either died or something happened to her, like she's just not around, or she died. Probably she died, because you think of Star Wars Episode 1 where the father was never explained, because that idea was that the Force gave birth to Anakin, which is so weird, but and then she took him in. Same kind of thing with this, is that Eggs, it doesn't explain where his mother went to, because his mother wasn't in the movie, but I think the idea is that his mother basically either isn't around or died. I don't know, but because they didn't explain it, so that's something I would have liked to see have them explain, but they didn't explain it. I mean, I don't think they're planning on making sequels to any of the movies they're making, but heck, if they made some kind of spin-off movie that they explain what happened to my mother, that would be really cool, because I was interested. I was like, there's something wrong with this movie. What is wrong with it? Oh, where's the mother? There's no mother. If he has a dad, he has a mother, but like, I guess the mother died or something, I don't know. And as for my final thoughts on the movie, and my final little, I have a list here of all the things to talk about, because I do, and I do have a list here. I feel like it's better to talk about a movie with a list of things to say. And so one of the things that was interesting at the movie, because it's an American production, but it's mainly British cast, except for maybe Elle Fanning and in the other one of the henchmen. Basically, Treesbridge is basically the center of the story, essentially, which is kind of funny because the Council of White Hats is trees leveling up, and basically it's set during the Victorian times era. So that's kind of the explainer for why everyone except, I think, Mr. Gristle, I think his name is, the maniac guy. He's the really darn creepy guy. He has this creepy smile, just like, I hate it. He's just a wild guy. It's just, he's insane. He just looks insane. And so, they're all British except for him. Obviously, Elle Fanning, I always thought it was Elle Fanning, but I might be wrong about that, because I know Chloe Fanning and Elle Fanning are sisters, and Chloe Fanning was actually in Coraline. She voiced Coraline herself, which is cool, because I guess it's like so you have both the Fanning sisters in 2 of Laika's productions, which is pretty cool. And so she's voicing Winnie with the British accent, but she's American, obviously. So, like, every character except for those 2 characters are British, essentially. So it just kind of, it's interesting that, because it's set in Victorian times, that kind of explains why everyone's British, essentially. I mean, I love the British. I love the British, but it's just very interesting because I feel like they should explain something like that, but I guess they never was explained, except, you know, so you look at the Wikipedia article, it explains, oh, it's in the Victorian time, which is, you know, in the UK kind of thing. It's why almost all the characters except for 2 are British, essentially. Well, by that I mean, like, all the characters are British except for Mr. Gristle, but there's only 2 American actors in the movie. Well, the actors that were present in the movie that I recognized, or at least I didn't recognize all of them, but I saw the names that pop up on the screen. There was obviously Elle Fanning, or Elle Fanning, whatever you want to call it. There was Simon Pegg. There was Ben Kingsley. He played the Tank Mandarin in Iron Man 3. There was Richard Ayoade, whatever it's called. The only thing I've seen him in is the IT Crowd. There's other things he's been in, but I've only seen him in that thing. There was Nick Frost, who you remember playing Santa Claus in the Doctor Who special that they made for 2015, I think it was. Yeah, 2015, for the first special of Capaldi's era. He played Santa Claus in that one, and that's pretty much all the ones I really saw about there. There were other ones, but that's the ones I really recognize. Really, I didn't recognize the other voice actor. Some of them sound really familiar, like the father of Winnie, who I don't remember. But basically, that was they're all the voice actors that I was surprised about. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So of course, some of them just because their voices are so hard to spot some of the time, because I usually have accents or something like that. I couldn't recognize it. Like I couldn't recognize his voice at all. So kind of like I couldn't recognize his voice with Ready Player One when I saw that. So anyway, I think that's gonna do it for this review of Boxtrolls. Actually, one thing I wanted to say about the movie before I wrap up here was I actually saw this movie on my birthday. It's pretty cool, but it was released on my birthday. It was released on September 26, 2014, which would have been my 18th birthday, I think I want to say. That's right. 2018 now, so I'll be 22 this September. So yeah, my 18th birthday. Yeah, that's right. So my 18th birthday. I actually went to see it with my friend, a friend of mine and my family, and we just see it. It was wonderful, and I still have the ticket. I still have it, but yeah. And of course, obviously the Blu-ray. Although I couldn't find the digital copy anywhere, but the Blu-ray is really, really cool. As you can see, there's baby eggs, really cute, and obviously Winnie is so cute. And I just think it's really cute when 2 young people are friends. Of course, they're way too young to have any kind of romantic attention going on, but it's just adorable. I just love seeing 2 young characters, especially when they're 2 opposite genders, become friends. It's just adorable. And honestly, I think it was a wonderful movie. It was fantastic, and I didn't have any problems with it. Other than that, I guess maybe Eggs' mother was never, really announced or present or whatever. I just didn't understand, but yeah, overall, I like that. It was really, really fun to see on my birthday when I saw it, because I'd only seen it until recently I'd only seen that once. I had only seen this movie when it came out back in 2014 on my birthday. So, pretty cool. And as for the scoring of this movie, I am going to give it a 9 out of 10. Simply because of the fact that, again, we never really got his, we never really got information about his mother, really. And honestly, I got my favorite character has got to be Winnie, because she's adorable. She's so cute, and I mean, I guess you could call her pretty. I mean, yeah, I guess she's just a really young girl. She's like 12, I think, or no, I think she's 11. Yeah, she's 11, so she's just very young and little girl, but she's so cute, and British accent, really good, nailed it, and honestly, it's a wonderful movie, really. So 9 out of 10 for that movie. So anyway, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Reviewed. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. I really do appreciate the support. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe for more episodes of this series and other series that I do, as well as other great content. And I'll be back next time with another episode. Alright? See ya.